Kalashnikov Concern or Izhmash is the largest arms manufacturer in Russia, headquartered in both Izhevsk and Moscow, that produces a wide range civilian and military weapons, including assault and sniper rifles, guided artillery projectiles, and a wide range of other precision weapons. The majority of civilian products includes hunting shotguns, sporting rifles, various machines and tools. The concern produces about 95% of all small arms in Russia and supplying to more than 27 countries around the world. The concern contains three brands: Kalashnikov, Baikal, and Izhmash. The concern is developing new business lines that include remote weapon stations, unmanned aerial vehicles, and multifunctional special-purpose boats. In May 2014, a deal to transfer 49% of the company's shares to private investors was completed. A majority 51% remained within the state-owned corporation Rostek. At the same time, by agreement of shareholders, the control over the management of the concern always stays with the private shareholders. Therefore, although the state has remained a controlling stake owner, the management structure of Kalashnikov today is of a private company. History. Beginning: Izhevsk gun factory construction started in 1807 by the order of Emperor Alexander I. Nzeemin, mining engineer, was responsible for the construction and site picking. The place was chosen due to the proximity of ironworks, which immediately solved all the raw material supply problems. Now Nzeemin is widely known as Izhmash town founder, since the factory managing arms office opening became a great impulse for the whole town development. Nzeemin employed Russian and Izhmashian ploughmen living in the neighborhood. At that time, ploughmen were to migrate to plants and work there. Far settlements were released from these responsibilities but had to provide works with wagons, horses, and harnessing. It also was Nzeemin that hired foreign specialists to guide Russian craftsmen. 10 stone plants, several wooden constructions, and a tower main building were erected in 1811 to 1816. First weapons were produced in autumn of 1807. It was the number 15 17.7 mm smoothbore muzzle loaders for soldiers. The plants applied the Ku-2s of Army with over 6,000 #15s. Russian smoothbore 17.7 mm gun made in 1808 was mass-produced for infantry equipping. There also were grape-shot loading Ranger, Ulan, and horse-guard short rifles, cuirassier and hussar carabines, dragoon muskets, flint blunderbuss made in 1809. The venture also produced pistols and gun parts and remelted trophy weapons. After a while, the plant started producing Ulan, horse guard, cuirassier, and dragoon rifles aside from infantry arms. In the 1830 to 1840s, the works manufactured Gartung short rifles, phallus breech-loading shoulder weapons, and boarding guns for the Baltic Fleet aside from infantry pistols and cuirasses. In 1844, the decision to upgrade current guns into more rapid-firing percussion muskets was made. Caplock gun production started in 1845. During the Crimean War, Izhevsk supplied the army with 130,000 rifles, and a third of them were grooved. First guns employed by Russian Army were Lutich short rifles for infantry battalions made in 1843. First 50 years of the factory. During the 50 years of the plant's operations, over 670,000 of flint guns and pistols, over 220,000 percussion muskets and pistols, over 58,000 rifle guns, and impressive number of cold weapon were produced. As for the cold steels, the venture manufactured knives with scabbards, cuirassier back swords, dragoon sabres, short brown bills and lancers. In 1835 the plant decided to transfer cold weapon production to Zlatoust and focus on firearms manufacturing. Private in 1867 Izhevsk gunsmiths got a kind of manumission and the enterprise was leased to private management. In 1884 the plant was returned to the state and became Izhevsk gun and steel factories. Burden 4 Port rifle was the most popular gun of the plant. It allowed Russia to approach the European industrial empire's level of armaments. 1885 started manufacturing of hunting weapons. Later, in 1922, the first state hunting gun factory was opened on the enterprise's premises. First World War and after. During the First World War the plant supplied army with over 1.4 million of new rifles and approximately 188,000 of remelted shoulder weapons. By 1917 the works employed over 34,000 people. In the 1920s the venture manufactured various types of civil goods including the railway buffets, acid ammonium molybdate, emery sticks, etc. The town's chemical industry commenced with the establishment of works for aerosol-effective cement power production. In spring 1925 the plant started manufacturing crankshafts and aircraft engines and first Soviet motorcycles in 1929. In 1930 IGSF organized a machine building insourcing. In 1933 a motor plant was founded in Izhevsk and some specialists and equipment from Izhevsk gun and steel factories were transferred there. Mosin Dragoon rifle, produced mainly by the plant, was upgraded in 1930. The 3-port Mosin rifle, made in 1891-1930, was employed by Russian Army and Navy. The first sniper gun was based on the Mosin rifle and produced in 1931. The works also designed the aircraft machine gun, aircraft gun and anti-tank weapon producing technology. In 1939 Plant 180 was diversified into Metallurgic Plant 71 and Engineering Plant 74, which also manufactured weapons. Second World War. During the Second World War the works released 11.3 million rifles and carbines, which exceeded all the German plant's output. Over 15,000 aircraft guns and over 130,000 anti-tank weapons were produced. Besides mass production of anti-tank weapons, aircraft guns and machine guns, pistols and revolvers was set up. It took 24 hours for the works to supply 1 rifle and 1 air divisions. In 1941 the plant set up Dezhcherev anti-tank gun production less than in a month. Simonov anti-tank gun was ordered in November 1941 and already released in 1942. Berezin aircraft machine guns production was mastered in a short term. TT pistol and Nagant revolver production was a line. In 1942 manufacturing of 37mm Shpitelny and Nudelman Shuranov NS-37 aircraft guns and sniper rifles with optic sights commenced. On July 20, 1942 Plant 622 was segregated from Plant 74. Part of the equipment was transferred from Izhevsk Engineering Works. A part was obtained at evacuated Tula and Podolsky mechanical plants. During the war, Plant 622 produced Dezhcherev Simonov anti-tank guns, TT pistols, Nagant revolvers, flare guns, ignition case primers. After war. During the post-war period the plant started to release a wide range of civil goods like agricultural equipment, furniture and other. At the end of the 40s main civil products were hunting weapons. In 1945, Izh motorbikes manufacturing was resumed. At the end of the 50s, the plant was involved in cosmic exploration and created first S-325B launch vehicle for the Earth atmosphere scanning and gaining data on near-space characteristics. At the beginning of the 70s, M100B and M120 were designed vacuum devices for modern aircraft, and missile early detection systems were produced. Sporting variants of hunting guns were designed. TSSV-1 and S-49 target sporting rifles, TSV-50 and MTSV-50 free rifles for 7.62 and 5.6 mm cartridges were produced. Evgeny Dragunov commenced and headed upgrading the target rifles in 1955. Hunting models were also being improved. In 1960, the Bau's rifle appeared. In 1961, Madved was constructed, and in 1964, LOS was released. The development of sniper weapons continued. Dragunov headed 1891-1930 sniper rifle improvement in 1948 and created new model MS-74. Testing showed advantages of the gun. The Simonov rifle, 7.62 mm Kalashnikov assault rifle, was also designed in 1948 and mass-produced in 1949. On July 3, 1963, 7.62 mm Dragunov self-loading sniper rifle was employed by the Soviet Army. In 1942–1952, the plant's design bureau had a team of 16 German gunsmiths designers, including Hugo Izhmash, the inventor of StG-44, Gustloff worker, chief designer Karl Batnik, and his assistant Oskar Schenk, Werner Gruner and Gert Horn, the developers of MG42. In 1975, Izhevsk engineering plant became Izhmash Industrial Association. In 1984, the plant started production of artillery shells. In 1993, Viktor Kalashnikov and Alexei Dragunov developed PP-19 Bizon submachine weapon. In 1994, Russian Army employed a 94 Baikal Nikonov automatic rifle produced by Izhmash. Hunting carabines based on Kalashnikov's Saiga were gaining wide popularity. The series development started with Saiga for 7.6239 cartridges release in 1992. Later, other weapons of the series appeared. Izhmash expanded its production and commenced manufacturing the GP-34 grenade launcher and UAV. Nowadays, after the plant was amalgamated by Rostechnology State Corporation in 2008, Izhmash became a parent company of the Close Combat Weapons Systems Holding. The holding ventures produce ammunition, high-precise weapon, UAV, automatic small arms including automatic guns, submachine weapons, pistols, shooting grenade launchers and sniper weapons, develop technologies and manufacture special equipment for production. In the Russian military-industrial complex system, Kalashnikov relates to the conventional arms industry. The state corporation, Rostech, holds 51% of the shares of the concern, and private investors own the remaining 49%. Business. In November 2012, Dmitry Rogozin proposed to merge Izhmash with Izhevsk mechanical plant under the new name, Kalashnikov. In a meeting with the Russian president, Mr. Rogozin has said, Izhmash and Izhmash, with due respect, are not brands. Kalashnikov is a brand. Vladimir Putin supported the idea. The merger was concluded on 13 August 2013. Concern. Kalashnikov was created on the basis of NGO Izhmash and is the parent company of Rostech Small Arms Holding. In 2013, based on the decision of the state corporation Rostec, Kalashnikov Concern was renamed into Concern Kalashnikov, and that same year Rostec leadership decided to transfer 49% of the Kalashnikov to private investors. A group of private investors are represented by Alexei Krivoruchko and co-owner of Kuzbase Razrazulia and Izhmash Holding, Andrei Baikarev. To implement the transaction, Rostec issued additional stock, so that investments were made directly into the share capital of the Kalashnikov and went to the company's development right away. Today, the main goal, to increase capitalization and profitability of the enterprise, to ensure the sales growth. In May 2014, a deal to transfer 49% of the company's shares to private investors Andrei Baikarev and Iskander Makhmudov was completed. A majority 51% remained within the Rostec. At the same time, by agreement of shareholders, the control over the management of the concern always stays with the private shareholders. Therefore, although the state has remained a controlling stake owner, the management structure of Concern Kalashnikov today is of a private company. We are currently discussing a repurchase of additional 2% of the shares from Rostec and receiving a controlling stake in JSC Kalashnikov Concern by private shareholders. Kalashnikov CEO Alexei Krivoruchko said, "The model of public-private partnership is one of the most effective for the management of industrial enterprises, and it allows us to implement large-scale projects. Within the framework of our rebranding, which was done in December 2014, a new corporate brand of Kalashnikov was presented, as well as updated product brands for the combat Kalashnikov weapons, Baikal hunting weapons, and sports line Izhmash, which are now part of brand portfolio. As part of strategy plan of widening the product line of the group, the company purchased a 49% stake in Euro Yachting Rybinskaya shipyard group that produces high-tech landing craft, search and rescue and pleasure launch. Also, it acquired a controlling stake of 51% of Zala Aero, a developer of unmanned aerial systems. Despite the sanctions at the end of 2014, Kalashnikov almost doubled the production of small arms and in 2015 plans to further increase it by at least 20 to 25%. The sanctions affected not only the concern, but also foreign buyers of its products. Kalashnikov hopes that the sanctions will be lifted and the concern will be able to return to the US market, especially since now there are new products that were announced. The balanced automatic carbine Saiga 107, carbine Saiga 9 and self-loading shotgun Saiga 12, which evoked great interest among American consumers. Rebranding on December 2, 2014, Kalashnikov Concern presented a new brand. The Concern brand Renew is a symbol of long-ripened changes and reflection of the company's new strategy. New brand joins in itself the main values of all Concern: functioning, reliability, responsibility, constructability. Owing to rebranding, the brand's portfolio common architecture was created, including the Kalashnikov corporate brand and 3 production fighting weapon Kalashnikov, hunting Baikal, and sporting Izhmash. In addition to new corporate and production design, the name system has been created for all concern-issued weapon models. The Kalashnikov is a Russian symbol that is known across the world, said Alexei Krivoruchko, Kalashnikov's chief executive. The rebranding is a symbol of changes in the way our business works and our product lines that have been long in the making. The new brand will reflect our main principles: reliability, responsibility, and technological efficiency. Rebranding plays an important role in the culmination of the concern's new development strategy. It overlooks the expansion of the global geography of sales. sales and an increase of supply by 4 and production sizes up to 300,000 units a year. Concern Kalashnikov occupies 95% of the Russian firearms market, and in correspondence with a new strategy is piling up production for a sales increase around the world. However, in order to compete with world leaders on an equal standing, an understood, strong, and recognizable brand is necessary, noted CEO of Rostec Sergei Chemezov. Concern co-owner and CEO Alexei Krivoruchko presented the development strategy till 2020. Its main priorities are the following: wide-range issue of world market, competitive products, production processes, effectiveness increase, and modern management structure design. The one of the creator of new brand Alexander Kool expressed, "In production brand of fighting weapon we rethought and saved all symbolic capital of Kalashnikov name. Today this is the brand of fighting weapon which philosophy expressed in motto, the weapon of the peace, protecting peace, is in the base of all communications and design system. We are positioning the fighting weapon of Kalashnikov as unique in the world, which has the reputation capital with the sign plus. Rebranding is a key element of the concern's expansion onto new markets and the broadening of sales in the civil sector. In the future, the recognizable Kalashnikov brand will become the basis of a clothing and accessory line." In 2014, Concern Kalashnikov has presented a strategy for technical re-equipment and production modernization. When implemented, the project will qualitatively improve production technology and greatly reduce running costs and energy consumption, while also improving working conditions and overall productivity. The presentation of the strategy took place during a visit of Rostec Corporation CEO Sergei Chemezov to the Izhevsk mechanical plant in 2014, which coincided with Gunsmith Day, celebrated on September 19 from the third consecutive year. This holiday is closely linked with the legendary Izhevsk designer Mikhail Kalashnikov, after whom the concern is named, and who also first proposed celebrating Gunsmith Day. One of the key areas of work for optimizing the concern's production is the introduction of MIM technology, which facilitates the production of parts with complex shapes with little or no additional processing. One of our strategic objectives is to increase the competitiveness of our products in the global market through systematic and consistent work aimed at increasing productivity and efficiency. The program to modernize production will reduce by more than 2 times the amount of unnecessary equipment. The production space will be decreased by more than 40%. We also expect to reduce costs for producing specialized equipment by 15 to 20% while simultaneously increasing capacity, thus expanding the range and volume of our production. Kalashnikov CEO Mr. Krivoruchko said. Vision of the future. Concern focuses on several strategic objectives: production of a wide range of popular and competitive in the global market products, development and production of small arms systems, high-precision equipment, ground and technical support equipment, building an efficient management structure with competencies, assets and resources necessary and sufficient to monitor the entire chain of production, logistics and quality management, ensuring the competitiveness of the production processes at the level of the best world practices, achieving maximum specialization in key competencies and technological limits, and the widespread use of outsourcing mechanisms in terms of auxiliary processes.